Hello, it's Chris here. Hopefully you're doing okay. I'm showcasing my Dark Magician deck. The first three cards are obviously Dark Magician. It's a really useful spellcaster card, and it was used by the original Yugi character in one of his main decks during the anime series. Attack is 2500 and defense is 2100. It's a dark spellcaster type card, and it's an archetype within its own self. So there's lots of add-on cards and cards that add to the overall grandeur of Dark Magician as a standalone card. So it's really useful. Moving on, I'm going to show you my Ritual Effect monster, which is really one of the big bosses of this deck, going alongside Dark Magician, and that would be Dark Master Zork. Dark Master Zork is a ritual summon which you need the contract of Dark Master for. You roll one-sided dice. If you roll a 1 or a 2, you can destroy all your monsters your opponent controls. If it's 3, 4, or 5, you can destroy one monster your opponent controls. Or if you roll a 6, you sadly have to destroy all your own. Attack would be 2700 and defense is 1500. So it's quite a good little monster to have. It's quite a beefy, chunky monster for a good attack and assault on the opponent's life points. The second cards that add bonus to the ritual monster theme in this deck is Manju, 10,000 Hands. The effect of this monster is when you normal or flip summon it, you can add one ritual monster or one spell card from your deck to your hand. Moving on, I've got two Chiron Mages. It's a Beast Warrior. Once per turn you can discard one spell card to target one spell or trap your opponent controls, and you can also destroy that target. It's quite a useful card because it's got 1800 attack, which is fairly substantial for a rank 4 monster. Moving on, I've got a Rapid Fire Magician. A Rapid Fire Magician is another spellcaster. It's got a really useful effect. When this card is face up on the field, it inflicts 400 life point damage to the opponent each time you normal activate one normal spell card. So say if you're using normal spell cards such as Pot of Greed or cards in that nature, you can go ahead and once you activate it on the field, you can gain 400 life. You can inflict 400 life points on your opponent. I've also got the new card which was in the Dragon Blue Eyes deck box that I brought, and that's Dwarf Star Dragon Platina. And once per turn at the end of the phase, you can normal summon one light level 7 or one dark level 7 monster from your deck to your hand. Obviously Dark Magician is a dark level 7 monster, so it's quite a good little quick summoning tool for that. Moving on, I've put in Vortex Trooper. Vortex Trooper, when this card is normal summoned, you can shuffle 2 cards from your hand into the deck, then draw 2 cards when this is destroyed, and then you can add 1 card. So it's a very useful thing for if you haven't pulled a very good hand. You can use this card to reshuffle and reorganize your hand for a defensive or an attack position. Carrying on with the Dark Magician theme, I've got Dark Magician Girl. This is a spellcaster card. For every Dark Magician or Magician of Black Chaos in your either player's graveyard, this monster adds 300 attack. So the attack is 2000 for a level 6 monster, I believe. So if you've got, say, if I have 2 or 3 of my Dark Magicians in the graveyard, this card will obviously add 900 attack, so it'll be a 2900 monster, which is really good. The next set of cards I've got are defense cards. I've got the old retro mystical elf with 2000 defense. So I had it in my original deck many years ago, and it's just a really useful card. Following on from the bulky defensive position monsters, I've got Elemental Hero Claymon of 2000 defense as well. Another really useful card. I've got a level 5 3000 defense, so any big hitting monsters from the opponent's side I can defend myself. And this is Labyrinth War, which is what Yugi used as well, and you can get other spell cards and different things to enhance its structure and effect. Now I move on to effect monsters and flip monsters. I've got Armored Bee, which once per turn you can target one face-up monster you control, your opponent controls, and you can halve the attack until the end phase. So if your opponent has got a really bulky monster, you can halve the attack, and hopefully you've got enough firepower to destroy it or eliminate it from the position. Moving on from big firepower at level 4, I've got Lion-Hearted Locomotive. Attack positioning is 2400, defense positioning is 2100. The effect is basically if you declare an attack, the attack becomes half of the original at the end of the damage phase. But the trick with this card is to treat it as a defense monster, so you play it out on the field. It's 2400 attack. So it'll be really down to the opponent to attack you, but they'll obviously have to have a very strong monster to defeat it. So yeah, it's quite a good little block in terms of another defensive strategy in moving on. Following on from defensive strategies, I've got Rainbow Kuriboh. Rainbow Kuriboh is an effect monster you can add once per turn. You can, when an opponent declares an attack, you can target the attacking monster, equip this from your hand to the monster. It cannot attack. When your opponent declares a direct attack, when this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon it, but banish it when it leaves the graveyard. So it's quite a useful little recycling tool. Another retro card what I've got is Maneater Bug. It's a flip monster. Once you flip it into action, you can target one monster on the field and destroy that target. I've got another dark attacker, and this is Vorse Raider Warrior. It's a 1900 attack monster for level 4, which is fairly decent. I've also got another well-known archetype monster, which is Buster Blader. It's quite a useful monster. It's 2600 attack versus 2300 defense, and it's quite a dragon style attacking monster, whereas the effect is you gain 500 points for every dragon type monster your opponent controls or is in their graveyard, which is good for attacking Red Eyed deck or Blue Eyes decks. Moving on to spell cards, I've got 2 Dark Magic Attack. This adds a destroy or spell and trap cards if you control Dark Magician. I've got 2 Pile of Greeds. They basically allow you to draw 2 cards, which adds more to your hand. In order to get Dark Master Zork, I've obviously got to contract with the Dark Master. This card has used the ritual summon Dark Master Zork. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field who use levels equal 8 or more. So that's a fairly decent card. To attack on any monsters that require good hands, I've also got this Hand of Destruction. Each player sends 2 cards from their hand to the graveyard, and then they can draw 2 hands. I've also got a spell card, Poison of the Old Man. You gain 1200 life points, or you can inflict 800 damage to your opponent. Another really useful card for stalling or pausing the game or making your defences higher or attacks or strategy is Sword of Aurelian Light. Flip all your opponent's monsters face up. This card remains on the field for 3 turns. While this card is face up on the field, monsters your opponent controls cannot declare an attack. The last spell card is the traditional Monster Reincarnation. Discard 1 card, then target 1 monster in your graveyard and add it to the field. For ultimate attack on opponents, I've got Trap card, which is Magic Cylinder. When an opponent declares an attack, target the attacking monster, negate the attack, and if you do, inflict the damage to your opponent equal to its attack. So if that monster is attacking you and it's the only monster on their side, you can use their own attack to wreak havoc on their life points. I've also got Widespread Ruin. Widespread Ruin is another attacking defensive positioning trap card, where if an opponent declares an attack, destroy the attacking monster in attack position with the highest attack, which is very, very useful. I've also got Nightmare Wheel that I use. I can activate this card targeting 1 monster your opponent controls. It cannot attack or change its battle position. When it leaves the field or the card is destroyed, then you can destroy this card. Each of your standby phases inflict 500 damage to your opponent. The monster must be on the field to activate and resolve the effect. So it basically pauses the any form of control of that monster, and also has a sting in the tail with obviously the 500 attack bonus to the life points. And I've also got Wall of Destruction. When an opponent monster declares an attack, or attack position monsters the opponent controls loses 800 for each monster they control. So that's fairly useful in downgrading a fairly bulky monster if they've got a lot of competitive monsters on the field. They've also got Mirror Force. Mirror Force is very, very good. When an opponent declares an attack, destroy all attack position monsters your opponent controls. So it's really good at wiping the field, and obviously if they just played their attack position monster, and you can hit them hard on the life points or scrape out the magic or trap cards the next turn. I've also got the last but 1 card is Kunai with Chain. You can activate 1 or both of these effects simultaneously. When an opponent monster declares an attack, to target the attacking monster, change that to defense position. So that basically means that you can prevent an attack and you can regroup for the following turn, or the other effect would be target 1 face-up monster you control, equip it, and it gets 500 extra attack points. So you can use it both ways. You can either use it as an attack cushion, or you can buffer your own attack offensive forces to destroy the opponent. I'm going down the offensive positioning. I've also got inspiration, and this allows me to target one face-up monster I control, and it gains 700 attack until the end of the turn. So yeah, I hopefully you've really enjoyed this Dark Magician Yu-Gi-Oh deck video. From the first time I used the deck, I've altered and changed, and I'm sure I'll probably alter and change as new cards come out. So I do know that in August there's a special Dark Magician box collection coming out, similar to the one that we had for the Blue Eyes White Dragon collection, with supports and alternative cards, so I'm looking forward to that. Don't forget to rate, subscribe and comment, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Bye bye.